Thunder can't hurt! Harmless noise!
All humanity shall bow to me in humble gratitude.
We've all heard of watching something so bad that it's good, but what about great moments in otherwise bad stories? On that note, these are the top 25 best moments from bad movies.
What is going on? I can't hear you!
We're kicking things off with straight up heat. Honestly, I think this is the greatest opening to a forgettable film. The first Jurassic World movie wasn't exactly legendary material either, but at least it entertained the audience. Considering the opening sequence with the Mosasaur and the T-Rex, we were all tricked into thinking this was going to be an epic crossover into the horror genre. Man, the whole scene gave us such an eerie feeling, right from when we could see the Mosasaur opening its jaws for a midnight snack. The real MVP of this scene though is Rexy, who totally nails the scare factor of this story, that too, as per the book standards. They really went all out with this opening, just to disappoint us with a mediocre movie. Yeah, it may have made over $1 billion at the box office, but that's only because it's riding on a massive brand name. You can even say Fallen Kingdom's opening scene was an excellent clickbait thumbnail. Not the TV Regent though, our videos are always on point. Here's something a bit more recent. 2025's The Gorge isn't a bad movie as such, but I'd say it does fall a touch below average, even though it teaches us that long-distance relationships do hit hard. The real MVP is the romance between Anya Taylor-Joy and Miles Teller. Like, that's what actually makes this movie work. There's this really sweet montage where Levi and Drossar hang out during the holidays, and the movie even throws in some fun little Easter eggs nodding to Whiplash and the Queen's Gambit. While all of this is happening, there's a Twisted Sister cover of Oh Come All Ye Faithful playing, and they're literally building snowmen that look like each other. Honestly, it's adorable. What really gets me is how Anya Taylor-Joy and Teller pull off this entire scene without saying a single word. The chemistry between them just hits, even though they're like super far apart from each other. It's genuinely the sweetest part of the whole movie. Oh boy, this one definitely deserves to be here. Yes, it does. What the movie didn't deserve though was Rihanna and her moves. I don't know how much she was paid to do this in Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets, but I can assume it's as high as the amount of patience you'd need to say the movie's title out loud consistently. Okay, so she plays this shape-shifted character called Bubble, and there's this one scene where she literally seduces Dane DeHaan with this massive dance sequence with full-on costume changes, music, the whole deal. Look, it's definitely weird when the movie just completely stops and turns into what's basically a Rihanna music video with zero dialogue. Like, the plot just hits pause. But honestly, you can't really argue with the fact that Rihanna was born to do exactly that kind of thing. She absolutely owns it.
I would like to buy a hamburger.
I would like to buy a hamburger.
In at number 22 is a brilliant lesson on how to do comedy right. Steve Martin is so good here as Jacques Clouseau that you want to scream, just buy the darn burger. During his efforts to perfect an American accent, we quickly learn that Clouseau isn't the brightest bulb on the planet. He annoys his accent coach so much that she gives up on him, and this was literally on the very first line she was trying to teach him.
I would like to buy a hamburger.
I would like to buy a hamburger.
It's not Damburger, hamburger.
I'm not saying Dimburger. I said I would like to buy a hamburger.
What makes the scene stand out so well is the fact that Steve Martin is an American who's supposed to play a French dude trying to be American, and he nails it. Just listen to how he speaks. It's impossible not to laugh. Such a great character, but such a disappointing result. And yes, I know the Pink Panther has its fair share of fans, but if you look at the general reception it got back in 2006, it was quite bad. And it hasn't exactly become a cult classic either, save for such scenes as this one.
Hamburger.
I would like to buy a hamburger.
Maybe we should stop.
We don't quit. We do not quit. Again.
Up next is a sequence from a film that's been parodied into oblivion. The funny thing is that in this particular fight, it's actually Morbin time. Yeah, Morbius has gained some insane notoriety thanks to its questionable plot and characters, but at least the scene they promoted the most does live up to a higher standard. It was genuinely a good moment that stayed somewhat faithful to Morbius as a character. I mean, this was some pretty brutal stuff, and we could see this film going towards a good conclusion if they keep up the momentum from there. Unfortunately, anything that Jared Leto touches seems to turn to dust, and this was no different. I don't even need to justify why this movie is so bad. It was that viral on social media. And how can we forget the part about Sony actually releasing it again in theaters, hoping for some digital resurgence, only for the film to flop once again? Yikes, I can't even imagine how those board meetings would have gone after that debacle. Here's something special for fire enthusiasts. 2016 Suicide Squad may not have had many pop culture moments, apart from maybe Harley Quinn changing outfits in front of a live audience, but there's also a blazing sequence for a doused out film like this one. It's the battle between El Diablo and Incubus, which was definitely the main moment of the movie. Like, there's no way the final battle was expected to be more loved than this particular scene.
Ahora sí, cabrón.
El Diablo's monster form is insane, and he gives Incubus a solid run for his money, making us all wonder just how deadly he could be if he didn't have such a short time limit. The audience almost felt as if the day was saved, but then we were reminded that there are other characters in this movie being played by much bigger actors. Our boy Diablo was given off main character energy here, then he got done dirty by the real villains of Suicide Squad, the producers.
Ya te chingaste, güey.
It's painful for me to include this one, but it is what it is. The closest this film got to The Matrix was this scene, but that's not a lot in favour of 2015's Jupiter Ascending. I'm assuming the Wachowskis were definitely shooting for another Matrix-level blockbuster with this totally bonkers space opera about people mixed with animals. But yeah, that did not work the way they'd hoped for, like, not even close.
These ones. Gotcha.
But here's the thing, they still knew how to deliver when it came to action scenes. There's this absolutely brutal sequence where the villains attack Sean Bean's character, Stinger's house. Oh, and he's part B, by the way. The whole scene goes way too hard and proves they haven't lost that action movie magic, even if the rest of the film was kind of a mess.
Robinson is just a scared little boy, that's all. Just a scared little boy.
Keep going, keep digging.
I mean, I put on the show, but inside, man, lots of time I be crying.
If one thing is certain in Hollywood, it's that Eddie Murphy can make anything memorable. Well, I Spy doesn't exactly fit into that category, but there is something that's worth our memories. In an otherwise mediocre film, there's this one scene where Eddie Murphy and Owen Wilson are trapped in a sewer together and they just start opening up about their lives. It's hilarious and actually kind of touching. I mean,
Basically the same guy. Take away the boxing, take away the money.
Take away my money.
It's a metaphor.
the chemistry between them in that moment is pure gold. It's one of those scenes where you're like, why couldn't the whole movie be this good? The dialogue just clicks and the both of them are on point. I loved it a lot, and I was so disappointed that such a talented actor had to try so hard here.
You and I are the same guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. I know. I'm you.
No, I'm you.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We're twins.
How come you didn't snitch on me?
Because you're my sister, and I accept you for who you are.
Now we've got some warm feelings in a coldly received film. The hot chick obviously has this body swapping thing going on, but there's actually a really sweet moment that stands out. Jessica's little brother figures out it's actually her, even though she's stuck in some random middle-aged dude's body. It's one of those unexpectedly heartfelt scenes in what's otherwise a pretty silly comedy. Like, the kid just knows it's his sister despite everything, and that moment of recognition hits different. It's genuinely touching and shows that sometimes these goofy body swap movies can sneak in some real emotional beats when you least expect it. Also, props to Rob Schneider for making this bit believable.
Come here. You are such a little weirdo.
Coming in next is the biggest X-Men gag of all time. Yeah, we really thought that this was going to be a classic, but oh boy, the audience has never been so wrong. There are tons of flaws in Wolverine's origin story, and I can probably make multiple volumes just on those alone. However, the way things kicked off really had me hyped AF. Apart from Kid Logan learning about his powers, the way they went through his earlier days in the credits was top-notch stuff. We got so much context right off the bat that the path was clear for even a half-decent movie to make its mark. Normally, the audience skips this part to get popcorn and drinks, but no. This time, they were seated to witness greatness. Too bad they only got mid-quality after that. Yeah, this is yet another case of a promising intro getting ruined by the rest of the movie. Yeah, Wolverine and Rexy seem to have more in common than just ripping people to shreds.
This is going to be quite a ride.
It's safe to say that music was the only good thing in this movie. Everyone was super hyped for Disney's Tron, which was honestly way ahead of its time with the whole world inside a computer thing. But the casting choices were pretty meh, and the story was predictable, so it ends up being kind of a letdown. Even so, director Joseph Kosinski made one absolutely genius call. He got Daft Punk to do the entire soundtrack, and when their music kicks in alongside those slick, futuristic visuals, it actually gets exciting for a minute.
Met your friend. He's fantastic.
There's this party scene in the middle of the movie where Daft Punk literally shows up as themselves, and that combo of their music with the party vibe is genuinely thrilling. Without the duo, this would have been more forgettable than what it already is.
Enough is enough! I have had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane! Everybody strap in! About to open some windows.
In at number 14 is probably one of Samuel L. Jackson's most memorable lines in his entire career. It's also the only line we remember from this movie. I mean, Snakes on a Plane isn't the Avengers or Pulp Fiction, but I do get the feeling that Mr. Jackson had a lot of fun while shooting it with the crew. The premise of this film is so ridiculous, you may even wonder if the producers were of sound mind when they decided to greenlight it for a wide release. That too on a global scale. That decision clearly backfired, but man, this line's delivery was everything. It's such a random outburst, but it just feels so appropriate for the moment. Even to this day, people who had the unfortunate experience of watching this in the theatre still remember that one line as the only saving grace. Trust me, it's that bad. I can only assume that they paid Samuel L. Jackson an obscene amount of money to star in this film, so at least he made his bag, right?
We're all in trouble here, dog. This ain't just about you. Sit your down, Clarence. Whatever, man.
There are a lot of scientists in this movie, but the big brain energy was missing everywhere else. Deep Blue Sea was a somewhat entertaining movie, but it didn't do well with critics and has aged badly. Dr. Susan tricking a genius shark wasn't too bad to watch though. Listen, I know there could be other reasons for liking this scene, but seriously, it's suspenseful and thrilling even if we don't consider Saffron Burrows' choice of outfit. I sure as heck was rooting for her, but it all went to waste because she eventually gets eaten by another shark. Well, if the man from the previous entry couldn't survive this movie, then I can't expect the others to either.
We're going to pull together and we're going to find a way to get out of here. First, we're going to seal off this.
You want to fight?
Now we've got a rather surprising flop. Even in this scene, we're waiting for a payoff that never comes despite its impressiveness. Nicholas Winding Refn and Ryan Gosling teamed up again after Drive was such a huge hit, but honestly, this one's pretty disappointing. Only God Forgives is basically all flashy neon visuals with nothing really going on underneath. But the moment that's really cool here is Gosling's quiet, brooding character challenging this crime boss to a hardcore fist fight, and it totally flips what you think is going to happen. Like, you're sitting there waiting for Ryan to make a comeback, land a solid hit, or pull off some underdog victory moment. Spoiler alert, he gets absolutely wrecked. It's such a refreshing twist because it just does not go the way you expect to at all. Okay, this one's tragic because they nail the fights, but not the movie. American Assassin has this really intense fight scene where Dylan O'Brien's character Mitch is taking on multiple attackers, and the choreography is actually pretty solid. It's one of those sequences where you can tell they put real effort into making it look brutal and realistic. The moments are tight, the hits feel impactful, and O'Brien clearly trained hard for it. I just feel so bad to have all this effort go to waste because the writers and producers were clearly living in some parallel universe while these sequences were being shot and practiced.
You gotta have eyes in the back of your head.
Kicking off my top 10 is a pretty cool sequence for a bad sequel. Jurassic Park 3 is where things started going downhill because it introduced this awful idea that's been in every sequel since, the serial killer dinosaur. In this one, it's the Spinosaurus, which kills the T-Rex and then just becomes obsessed with hunting down the human characters for no real reason. Like, why is this dinosaur so personally invested in murdering these specific people? It doesn't make any sense, does it? The pterodon aviary seed, which actually came from Michael Crichton's original book, gives you about 5 solid minutes of nail-biting suspense that feels like classic Spielberg from the first movie. It's a nice throwback to when these films were actually scary and thrilling, instead of just being about dinosaurs with vendettas. Right, next is the wrong Deadpool in the right list. I'm surprised X-Men Origins has 2 entries on the same list despite being a bad movie, but I guess a couple of scenes can't avoid a complete disaster. Wade Wilson was done right later, but I guess Ryan Reynolds needed a test run, and oh boy does he nail it or what. This is a scene I've actually praised quite a few times before, so it shouldn't be too surprising to find it here. It's a fake Deadpool, but those skills are still pretty impressive. They even got the part of him being a loudmouth right, but sadly, there wasn't much else in the film about him that seemed acceptable. I guess it's all water under the bridge now, eh? Now we've got a seriously insane display. X-Men Apocalypse had no business demanding such a brilliant performance from Michael Fassbender. Magneto losing his family was so painful to watch, and he even follows it up with a badass display of power. There's so much that's amazing about this scene, but then you look at the rest of the movie and wonder, did they intend to use this for a different script? It just feels so out of place, you know? Either way, I'm glad we got to witness such greatness on the big screen, because Mr. Fassbender is a real gift to the franchise.
That smells great. Yes. Let's try on these.
I would really like some wine.
In at number 7 is something mid yet popular. It's got the memes and the references, but unfortunately, not the legacy. Ridley Scott's follow-up to The Silence of the Lambs is way too polished and sleek. It kind of just slides right past you without leaving much of an impact, you know? Kind of like watching a fancy car commercial or something. But there's one scene that's so messed up and twisted that it absolutely deserves a mention here. Dr. Hannibal Lecter literally opens up disgraced FBI agent Ray Liotta's skull and feeds him slices of his own brain like it's some kind of fancy appetizer. Yeah, I guess Mr. Liotta was better off playing gangsters. Rest in peace, man. Anyway, it's deeply disturbing and also so over the top that you can't help but remember it. It's definitely the most memorable part of an otherwise forgettable movie.
All will help me clear and make the coffee. Just think about what I said, Clarice. Coffee.
All I want to do is to create the perfect genetic soldier. Not for power, not for evil.
Up next is a speech so good I thought it was an Oscar winner. Street Fighter basically helped cement the awful reputation that video game movies currently have. The whole production was a disaster as they dealt with tons of problems, including the fact that Raul Julia was fighting stomach cancer while filming. But here's the thing about him. Even though this was his last movie, he showed up and absolutely killed it as the villain General M. Bison. He steals every single scene he's in, but there's this one monologue where he lays out his entire evil plan, and it's so freaking dramatic that it's actually amazing.
Every creed, every nation, until the very planet is in the loving grip of the Pax Bisonica.
If you search for the greatest speech in cinematic history on YouTube, you'll find this clip. It's become kind of legendary for how hammy and bombastic it is, but in the best possible way. Julia really went out giving it everything he had. Respect.
All humanity shall bow to me in humble gratitude.
I want a devil that's skin tight leather. He's gonna be wild as the wind.
Okay, we didn't need the movie, but definitely loved the scene. Grease was a massive success, but if John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John aren't in the sequel, then even a miracle can't save the movie. However, Michelle Pfeiffer made sure to make a mark regardless of the complications. Maxwell Caulfield's character Michael tries to ask out Stephanie, but she shuts him down by breaking into this song called Cool Rider, which is about what she's really looking for in a guy. Maybe it's just because Pfeiffer's got that star quality, but this performance is way more captivating than anything else in a movie that honestly nobody cared for. Plus, it kind of launched her career too. I mean, she got Scarface next.
Our true enemy has not yet shown his face.
Michael!
Yeah, you can forget the movie, but not this scene. So, Mario Puzo wrote the most unnecessary Godfather sequel, Francis Ford Coppola directed it, and Al Pacino went way over the top with his performance. If you're a Godfather fan, you can pretty much skip this film because nobody really wanted it in the first place. But there's one legitimately great moment where Michael Corleone is just exhausted and frustrated, talking about how he can't get out of the mob life no matter how hard he tries.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
That scene hits hard and reminds you why people love these characters in the first place, even if the rest of the movie doesn't live up to the legacy of the previous two installments.
I got my wind back. Run!
Vincent!
Run it, Thunder! Thunder can't hurt! Harmless noise!
Commence surgical procedure.
In at number 3 is an amazing surgery in an otherwise unimpressive film. Ridley Scott went back to the Alien universe with Prometheus, but he couldn't recreate that old magic. It's pretty slow and takes itself way too seriously, but then there's this one scene that completely wakes the movie up. Noomi Rapace realizes there's something moving around inside her body, and she's like, yeah, I need to deal with this now. So she heads to the ship's automated surgery machine. What happens next is absolutely brutal. It's this intense, squirm-in-your-seat body horror sequence that would make David Cronenberg very proud. Like, the movie seems to take genuine pleasure in making the audience uncomfortable. It's the kind of scene that'll have you looking away but also unable to stop watching. Definitely the most memorable part of an otherwise kind of boring film.
How'd you like that, Spidey? That all you got?
Yes, it just had to be here. The life of Bully Maguire was so epic that I couldn't just restrict myself to one particular scene. It had to be the fight against Harry Osborn, it had to be the humiliation of Eddie Brock, but most importantly, it had to be that dance. Our boy had so much aura that even solo leveling Sung Jin Woo would need to take classes from him. This was the definition of so good it's bad. Spider-Man 3 is getting a bit more love nowadays, but it was hated to the core back in the day. Even so, Bully Maguire had managed to build his own fan base in 2007. At this point, who needs webs when you can just put some dirt in your enemy's eyes? Forget Spider-Man, or hail Bully Maguire. Topping today's video is a certified classic. I mean, it's such an epic duel in such a disappointment of a film. Don't get me wrong, this is still way better than any of the new Star Wars stuff, but we should hold ourselves to a higher standard, right? Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi facing off against Darth Maul was epic stuff, and it's quite frankly a highlight, not just from the movie, but from the entire year. It's got great choreography and also a highly emotional moment as Liam Neeson has to bid adieu, after which he goes to another cinematic universe to train Batman. Yeah, that guy clearly had a hectic work schedule back in the day. Anyway, I feel this is the perfect entry to put at number 1, and I'm sure many would agree with my decision, although Bully Maguire wouldn't have been a bad choice either. Hope you liked the video. Please subscribe to the TV Regent, and here's another video that I know you're going to enjoy.